You know what's keeping you from getting rich? It's not your rent. It's not your car. It's not even your salary. It's your fucking habits. Yes, you're not rich because of your daily latte. No, really, that $6 coffee you grab every morning, that Uber you could have walked instead of taken, that extra cocktail, that food, $18 food delivery free. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Those little daily indulgences don't feel like much, but over time, they're absolutely fucking brutal. Welcome to the Latte Factor, the only money leak you need to fix. The Latte Factor isn't literally about coffee. It's a metaphor. It's all about the tiny, sneaky expenses that quietly drain your wallet while you tell yourself they don't count. The Latte Factor was coined by David Back, and it's not really about lattes. It's about awareness. We all think we're broke because of the big stuff, the rent, the car, the student loan. But look deeper. It's often the small, repeated costs that silently rob you. We think it's only $6, but that's $6 by 5 working days, by 52 weeks, that's 1,560 a year. And that's just coffee. Now multiply that across food delivery, bar tabs, subscriptions you forgot to cancel, and convenience charges, ride shares, little purchase every single day. They stack and they kill your financial momentum. Why? Because that $1,500 isn't just $1,500. It's future wealth you're throwing away. You're not being crushed by rent. You've been slow dripped into poverty by oat milk and Uber. Let's talk numbers, real numbers. Let's say you invest that same $1,500 a year instead, at about 10% annual return, like the S&P 500 has averaged over the long term. After 10 years, this is $26,296. After 20, that's $94,503. After 30 years, that's $271,415. All you have to do is just skip 5 lattes a week. Go on, have the other 2, have a treat. But that's $271,415 after 30 years, and just make your own coffee at home. Now let's raise the stakes. Let's say you find $2,000 a year in savings, maybe by cooking a bit more, biking instead of Ubering, flying carry-on, buying some fresh fruit instead of pre-cut food, etc. Over 30 years at 10%, 361,000, you're giving up $250,000 for daily treats. Not because they're bad, but because you're doing it on autopilot. $6 a day on coffee doesn't sound like much until you realize that's a Ferrari in 30 years and your retirement plan is currently a GoFundMe.
Okay, I'm just going to show you some of the numbers here and how it breaks down. So average latte costing $6. Let's say you cut out 5 a week. I'm not saying cut them all out, not saying cut out social events with friends or ones that you actually want or treat yourself. Just cut out the mindless ones, the ones that you run in, stand in line when you could have just made it at home and would have just been as quick as time. That's $30 a week or 1,560 per year. Let's just round that down to 1,500 to make it easy. Your interest rate is 10% because that's what the S&P grows at. So you'd make $150 by saving that per year. And at the end of the year, you have 1,650. Not much, but let's see how this breaks down over the next 30, 40, 50 years. So here's this table. Every year I add 1,500. I don't factor in inflation here. That coffee will go up, so you will make more. However, with the interest rate of 10%, you do have to factor in inflation there as well. So just for ease of use, after 10 years, 26,000. After 20 years, that's 94,000. And then after 30 years, you're looking at 271,000 just for skipping 5 lattes a week. Wow, that's crazy. Now let's see if we can break down the costs if we cut out a few other things in life that aren't necessities and aren't things that we get value from. Okay, here's a little table I've drawn here. Okay, we've got the lattes included. Pre-cut fruit. You go into the supermarket, buy pre-cut fruit maybe once a week. I don't know how many people do this, but just cut your own damn fruit. Fuck that, like. Cut out $6 a week, 312 a year. I like to drink. I've spent a fortune on beers. Actually, down in the comments, take a guess how much I actually spent on beers in the last 11, 12 years. I know, and I'd love to see what people guesses. This is my Latte Factor. I could cut this back, but I like socializing, like hanging out with friends. Cut just 2 a week. That's like you go out for 6 or 7, cut that down to 5 or 6. You have 10 on a night, cut it down to 8. I'm only saying cut down a few. That's roughly $10 a beer. In Canada and the States these days, €6.50 in Ireland. Maybe you eat out lunch every day. Let's just cut out 1 lunch a week, cut out 1 takeaway food a week, and cut out 1 Uber. Just walk. And I'm only saying cut out 1 of these, the ones that don't bring value, they don't feel like a treat, ones that you are just rushed to do. How about snacks? Just buy your snacks in bulk. Go to the candy aisle and buy a bag of chocolate bars or a bag of sweets or a bag of chips. Stop buying them at the checkout, like impulse buys at the checkout or bottles of water at the checkout. Just plan ahead. These are things you can still have, but at the same time, if you cut them out, you will be healthier as well. So a few of those things in there: $3 a day on snacks, impulse buys at checkout, bottled water. How about lottery tickets? Now, obviously, not everyone is going to use all these things, but just putting in a few examples here, and cut out one bottle of Coke or soda. Now let's look at a few of the monthly costs. Okay, lots of people sign up for TV subscriptions. You want to watch Disney, Apple, Prime, Netflix, but how much time do you actually have in a month? Why not subscribe to Netflix and maybe one other for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, and then cancel them and then sign up for Disney for a few months and then sign up for Apple so you can watch all your favorite TV shows, but you just have enough time to watch them instead of having them all being subscribed to at the same time. So I've cut out three of them there. Your phone bill, I pay $35 a month for my phone bill. I get 110 gigabytes. To me, that's perfect. When I go abroad, I use eSIMs. I know people in Canada paying 50, 60, 70, 80 for their bills. It's crazy. Just call up your phone bill company. Tell them Steve told you to call them and just fucking bargain them down or say you're moving. Let's cut that down $10 a month. How about bank fees? A lot of Canadian banks, I don't know if American banks do the same, but they charge you fees just for having an account. But then they take your money and go and make more interest on it themselves. But keeping a minimum amount in your account, you can cut out those fees. I never pay bank fees. So let's just call that $12.95 at some of the cheapest basic rates. Go into your Apple or Google store and check subscriptions. Maybe there's something you subscribe to that you forgot about. You signed up for free and then they keep charging you. And I know a lot of people who actually have this. So let's just cut that down 15 a month. And then just random things like walking instead of driving. You get a bit healthier, a bit fitter. Not all the time, I'm just talking a few times a month. Just walk a little more and be mindful, turning off your lights, heat or AC. A lot of people think keeping the thermostat on all the time is more efficient, but if you're out at work all day or you're not in the living room all night, this isn't the case. Look it up. Do the science behind it. Just cut it down. Let's say $20 a month. We're looking at saving $8,599 per year. Now, let me put that into the table up here. 8599. What's that going to get you? At 10% interest, $150,000 after 10 years. After 20 years, $540,000. And after 30 years, there's your 1.55 million. All for cutting out a few things that you don't really need and you don't get value from. Fuck that.
You're not choosing between coffee and a yacht. You're choosing between a mindless coffee and freedom. You're not busy, you're just lazy. If you can scroll TikTok for an hour, you can cut your own damn pineapple and skip out on the pre-cut fruit. People obsess over big ticket items like rent or buying versus leasing a car, but they ignore the death by 1,000 swipes happening daily on their credit card. The Latte Factor isn't about guilt, it's about awareness. If you're spending on something you love, like going out with friends, traveling, or the occasional espresso martini, or even that latte you actually love, go ahead, enjoy it. Just know the difference between spending intentionally and spending mindlessly. You don't need to cut out everything, just cut out the stuff that doesn't actually add value to your life. Then invest that money in something that will. This is not about deprivation. I'm not saying never buy a coffee or a cocktail or take a cab. You're not in money jail. What I'm saying is do it consciously. Don't eat out 5 times a week because you're tired. Meal prep. Don't buy convenience food because you're bored. Get intentional. The Latte Factor is about control, awareness, power. Because when you start realizing how easy it is to get wealth slowly, you stop needing to chase wealth quickly. Here's the part that really melts brains. You don't get rich with one smart move. You get rich by repeating small, smart moves over decades. Let's say you invest $3,000 a year. That's $250 a month. At 10 years annual return, $52,593. In 20 years, that's $189,007. In 30 years, that's $542,830. That's half a fucking $1 million. And that's not even aggressive investing. That's just not being a financial idiot. That's you brewing your coffee at home and being 15 minutes early for a bus instead of calling a $24 Uber. The millionaire math. If you can save and invest $500 a month, that's $6,000 a year. Guess what happens? 30 years later, you're well over $1 million. $1,085,660 to be exact. Yeah, that's a fucking millionaire. Not by inventing an app, not by day trading, not by manifesting abundance on Instagram, just by not being financially lazy for 30 years. So what should you do? Track your money leaks. Write down your spend for 1 week, all of it. We'll discuss you. Cut ruthlessly on autopilot spending. Not joy, not experience. It's just lazy habits. Do what you want to do, but find what brings you value. Automate investing every month, no matter what. Celebrate gains like compound interest, not like 10% off jeans. You don't need to give up everything, but if you give up nothing, you'll be giving up everything later, like retiring early, traveling freely, spending time with your loved ones, or quitting that job you hate. Money isn't just what you earn, it's about what you keep, and more importantly, what it becomes. Your tiny expenses have a massive opportunity cost. The latte won't ruin you, but the attitude that says $6 doesn't matter, that absolutely will. If you like this, hit subscribe and go make a coffee at home. That one sip just made you 300k richer.